God bless you. God bless you. What a beautiful day for the Lord to come again. It's such a blessing to be able to share the word like this to thousands of people watching near and far. And I'm grateful that you like, share, and subscribe to this channel for different reasons. But I'm grateful for those who took the time out to, or take the time out to listen to the word. Now, last week in class, I was teaching and I taught on the topic of being born in sin and shaping in iniquity. And the question was asked along this line, why do good people go to hell? And we gave different answers. And one of the answer that we gave was because being born into this sinful world, you automatically a sinner. And different people gave different thoughts, but I don't think we gave a good enough answer to satisfy the mind of someone who may be searching for an answer. Because in reality, what makes a sinner different from a Christian, a child of God? What is it that make you go to heaven and a person who has never been baptized or accept Jesus Christ as Savior to go to hell? Well, the Bible tells us in Ephesians 2 verse 8 that salvation is not something that we deserve or earn. It is the gift of God. That's the first thing. And if you listen to this scenario, you understand a little bit more about how we become a Christian and how it is that we have the faith that we're going to make it to heaven. So a baby that is just born today and die tomorrow, even though that baby is born into this sinful world, I don't believe that baby will go to hell. Why? Because the Bible said that we become sinners when we continue in our sin. When we make that conscious decision to sin. So even though that innocent child is born into this world, that innocent child has not exposed itself into sin, whereas a person who's living daily, lusting, lying, cheating, stealing, you have become a sinner because sin has entered into your heart. And not only because Jesus come to save the soul world from its sinful pleasure, the reality is that if you do not, if you have you ever taken the time out to line up your life with the plumb line of righteousness? Let me explain. My father was a builder, and I realized when he was building, he used to have a big, giant looking nail, and on the nail he had a rope. And he would, when he laid the blocks, he would go to the corner and then he would put that big nail and put it near to the wall. And you will see the nail moving when the blocks were out of alignment. And then that would help him to know that the column is lean and he needs to straighten out, put a little bit more cement there, put another block there or something like that. So it is in Amos 7 verse 5. The Lord told Amos that he is going to use a plumb line to measure the children of Israel righteousness. The first time I heard about a plumb line, I didn't have no idea what it was until I preached a few years ago, and the Lord had helped me to understand what a plumb line is. Now, can you imagine God holding something like this against your life from the day you were born? I think there's a lot of us that this plumb line would not stop shaking, because we have fallen from grace and we still keep falling every day. And it is because of God's grace and mercy why we are saved. It is not the good work. So the Bible said in Romans 3 chapter 10, there is none that is righteous, no, not one. And in Psalm 51 verse 5, it tells us that we were all born in sin and shaped in iniquity. And the best scenario that I will use for that is the hospital. In the hospital, there's a lot of germs, bacteria, and diseases. You would agree, correct? Now, it doesn't mean that once you step into the hospital, you're going to come out with bacteria, germs, and disease. If you expose yourself to it, then you will be infected, or you'll have that germs or disease to treat. When you are born into this world, even though we are born into sin and shaped in iniquity as a brand new baby, if that baby is born today and die tomorrow, it doesn't mean that baby is going to go to hell, because that baby has not been exposed to sin in the form of choosing to be a sinner. So if you go into the hospital, it doesn't mean you're coming out with, even though it is filled with bacteria. There are places in the hospital, I'm sure, that as well is shut off and secluded just for people who have a certain type of sickness. If you're going to treat, if as a nurse or a doctor, if you're going into that room, you have to go well equipped, well prepared, so that you don't come out with that form of sickness infected in your body. So just to give you a scenario, people may ask, then if you're born into sin and shipping into iniquity, into the sinful world, why is it that a baby who is born today and die tomorrow still go back to heaven or doesn't make it to hell, but a person who lives a life and doesn't get corrupt or sinful end up in hell? So the best explanation I would give is what I just explained, is that sin comes into your life when you make a conscious decision to sin. And there is nobody on earth that can tell me that they've never sinned before, because the Bible said we've all sinned and come short of the glory of God. And in Ephesians 2 verse 8, it tells you that salvation is not something that you do or you earn. It's not something that you've done to earn. It is not your good work that caused you to be saved. It is the gift of God. So all in all, none of our righteousness will save us, right? And it doesn't matter that you are sitting at home, never getting involved in anything that you consider sinful. That still will not cause you to make it to heaven.